Welcome to the Going North podcast, where we will deliver you tips and techniques to advance yourself and anything you decide to do in life. I am your host, Dom Brightmon, and every Thursday I will interview authors, especially self-published ones from various walks of life, who will deliver you information and inspiration to help you charge forward. On a quick side note, be sure to check out my book, Going North, on Amazon.com. It's available on ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we have, you guessed it, another author, but not just any author. This author right here, she's not only an inspirational speaker and also a certified igniter coach. She has a specialization with mindset work where she's passionate about helping others uncover their true gifts. So that means you don't have to wait till Christmas to unlock your gift. She has a special coaching program called the Crystal Clear Coaching Program, where she works one-on-one with clients, guiding and then identifying and releasing those limiting beliefs. And you're wondering, who is this wonderful lady I'm talking about? I'm talking about the one, the only, Donna Brown. How are you today, ma'am?
Oh, I'm fabulous, Dom. Good morning.
Oh, yes, it's a great morning indeed, now as I'm talking to you.
Thank you.
So just did a little short introduction into the wonderful world of Donna. Mind filling in the gaps where I may have missed some things?
Sure. 3 years ago, well, it was longer than 3 years, but 3 years ago I did something that changed the trajectory of my life. And I said yes to something that filled me with fear. And that was jumping off a cliff, which I don't recommend unless you're in a safe place, but not just any cliff. We were on a family vacation. And my kids were cliff jumping into the water, and terrified me. And so I volunteered to be the photographer and take all the pictures. And after about 2 hours of watching them squeal with the light each and every time they were jumping, including my young nieces and nephews, I thought, if I continue to say no and leave here without at least standing on the edge of that cliff, I'm going to regret it. And I was already so filled with regret that I thought, I don't want to have another one. And I stood on the edge of that cliff and shaking like a leaf, scared to death, but I did it. And it was one of the most exhilarating things that I have ever done. And I came out of the water, and my husband said I was fist in the air and screamed, I did it. Now, I have no memory of that piece of it, but I do remember the feeling of thinking how amazing it was. And I thought, oh, my God, I did it. I did it. Oh, my God, I did it. And that just put me on a path of saying yes to new experiences, which is how I got to where I am right now, having said yes to working with a coach and having amazing results that I ended up becoming a coach, saying yes to becoming a Reiki master, to telling my story in the book that you referenced. I shared my story as one of 20 women in a collaborative book called Women Who Ignite. I said yes to becoming a certified crystal healer and a speaker, and all of these things, each step I took was a new awakening for me. And I now am so excited every morning when I wake up because I know that I can make a difference. And that is really my pure joy, is helping others to uncover what is waiting for them so that they can wake up every morning feeling filled with passion and joy.
That's what I'm talking about. It's no wonder the book is called Women Who Ignite, because you like filling others with joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and think back when you were telling about that jumping off a cliff moment. It got me thinking, maybe it was the fearful Donna that maybe left your body at that time, and then that's probably what caused you to forget about what happened during the fall. The soul of fear just had to
Yes.
escape.
Yes. But, for some people, it doesn't have to be as drastic as jumping off a cliff. It could be someone who is walking into a room full of people that they don't know, and how to overcome that, and how to be confident enough to start a conversation and introduce yourself. So it doesn't have to be as extreme as what I did. It could be what is standing in your way, each person's individual way of getting to that point where they feel that sense of pride and passion. So it looks different for everyone. Mine was just on the edge of extreme. So that's what I help people, how I help people reach that place where they feel content and happy and joyful.
So get them to that real comfort zone, the one that folks are trying to get folks out of and into.
Correct.
Yeah, because that kind of reminds me of the whole comfort zone thing, especially in like motivational self-help circles. They always talk about getting out of your comfort zone, but it's like, don't you want to get to a place where you're actually comfortable in your confidence at least? Like, you don't have to always do something new. I mean, you can always do something new, but like do something that actually gets you to a place where you're more comfortable doing new things. Maybe I'm just thinking too deep about it.
It's different for everyone. Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own limiting beliefs that hold them back. And for me, what I found was that it's perception. How we view ourselves versus how the rest of the world views us. And most often, they are not the same. People tend to have a more critical view of themselves, and that oftentimes will keep them from taking those next steps. And that's what I find working with my clients is helping them to understand how they see themselves and to understand how others see them, because I think that's what holds people back.
There you go. Get them out their cage. Or the box.
I don't know many in a cage, but...
Okay, that's good. That's good. No strange foreign torture devices. All right, good. So what trials did you have to overcome in order to find your fabulous at 25?
Well, 52, actually. I didn't find my fabulous until 52.
Dyslexia, crap.
Well, good. It started at 25, actually, around then. So what was standing in my way was the belief that I was not smart. And I never finished college. And I equated that with my not being smart. The fact was that I just wasn't serious about my studies. I was working full time, having a lot of fun, and didn't really focus on my studies. But for 30 years, I believed that because I didn't graduate from college, that I was not smart. And it held me back in so many ways, from joining conversations to joining activities and becoming involved in different things, because I was so fearful that people would learn my big secret. I worked so hard at creating this persona that no one would ever know. The most telling thing for me was when I went back to my high school reunion. I think it was my 30th, and the book was due to come out a month or two later, because it was really the first time that I went to a reunion where I felt proud of my accomplishments. Until then, it was watching everybody else's success and comparing myself to other people, and always fell short. So they told these two friends that I had just written my story, and they asked what it was about. Well, it's about my journey. Well, what does that mean? And I told them how I had to give up that I didn't think that I was smart in order to reach this next level in my life. And they both looked at me with their mouths hanging open and said, "Are you kidding me? You spent 30 years thinking that? Why didn't you call us? We could have saved you 30 years of anguish in 5 minutes by telling you were just one of the smartest people we knew in high school." And then I sat there with my mouth open, because that was their perception of me versus my perception of myself. And I was blown away. It just proves that, what we think about ourselves is not always what other people see of us. And it was life-changing. It was life-changing for me. That was a turning moment for me in many ways, but that's really what allowed me to step into my greatness, is giving up that belief.
So you basically had this superpower this whole time that everybody thought you had, you just didn't realize it in yourself yet.
That's a good way to put it, yes.
Yeah, it can be kind of amazing how we sometimes talk to ourselves and with the whole self-talk thing. It's like, oh man, I feel so stupid. And then other folks, and it's like, oh, that person's such a freaking genius. I wonder what their life is like. And it's like, nope, you don't want to know. It is not all that good. I'm like horrible. But you got like straight A's and whatnot. We came to you for advice. Like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Cool. All right, so yeah, life is pretty good on my end, yeah.
You know, I once read or heard someone say that we would never talk to anyone else the way we talk to ourselves. And it's really something to think about, keeping track of your thoughts and what do you say to yourself? Are you kind? You know, are you brutal to yourself? That's an interesting exercise I often have my clients do, because understanding how we talk to ourselves and what our thoughts are so important to changing the path that we are on.
Yeah, it's true. And then you realize that the universe conspires in your favor. If you at least think in a positive light, it'll conspire in your favor in a good way, not a bad way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep, so if you think about that magical cupcake coming your way, the universe will find a way to have a cupcake come your way, right?
I absolutely do believe in the power of positive thinking and the law of attraction, where our thoughts become things. So if it's something that you can dream and think about, you can actually bring it to you. And I know there are people who don't understand that concept, don't believe it's true, but I have proof of that in my own life, and ever since I understood the concept, it's sometimes almost a game for me, you know, how quickly can I manifest that?
Nice.
So, yes. So it's just so important to pay attention to what you're thinking. What are you inviting into your life? Because we have the power to change that.
That's what I'm talking about. What are you inviting into your life? That is great right there. Are you sending out wedding invitations? Like, what are you sending out? Is it a birthday party? Metaphorically speaking, of course. Or are you, like, sending invites to, like, a metaphorical funeral for your bad feelings? Like, what are you inviting into your life? I like that. Actually, they could probably...
Because we can really, truly create what our life looks like. For me, what I've learned is that it's really just a couple of things that you can add to your life that are simple. Not always easy for people, but they're simple. You know, we all operate on a vibrational level, and when we change our vibration to a higher vibration, that's when the magic happens. And the two ways to easily raise your vibration are through meditation and through a gratitude practice. Because when you are grateful, you will find more and more things to be grateful for. That's where it all comes together. Having that high vibration, being grateful, and just allowing your mind to soak everything in and be quiet. I know quiet minds are hard for people, but even looking into nature, watching the trees blow in the wind, or staring into a fireplace, or there's so many different ways to get that feeling of meditation. So I invite everyone to partake in those two daily rituals, and if that sounds really challenging for you, then just start small and build.
Don't worry, I love it indeed, especially the gratitude piece. Heck, even had to underline that line in your book where you believe that gratitude is the secret sauce of life.
Absolutely.
That's right. So you can dip the nuggets of your thoughts into some gratitude onto a journal, and it'll be awesome. Especially the quiet mind piece, too, if you combine those, because I remember I think it was back in 2015, I heard a speech, in Toastmasters by the guy named Craig Valentine, where he talked about how he was on the brink of suicide, but then he started meditating, where he would actually, for 5 minutes every day, he would just sit down and be quiet with his thoughts, and how it transformed his life. And he eventually became the world champion of public speaking because he actually decided to sit down and quiet his mind. Heck, even, I think it was an article on entrepreneur.com where I forgot who exactly it was, but it was either one of those CEOs or a billionaire talks about how he makes sure that every morning he has at least those 5 quiet minutes to himself, so that way the rest of the day doesn't end up going all haywire.
Exactly. You know, even if during the day you find yourself getting a little bit off track or not feeling that centeredness, you know, I've had people say, well, I can't meditate, but if you take teeny steps towards it, it really builds. And so for someone who makes a lot of phone calls or receives a lot of phone calls daily, even taking one deep breath before you pick up the phone, either an ingoing or outgoing call, can change that call. Just allows you to center yourself, and it will change everything. So I invite everyone to at least start there if they feel challenged by 5 minutes of quiet. So I know for me, when I was first given that information, I thought, there's no way. My mind doesn't stop. There's no way I can sit still for 5 minutes. And so, but I learned some tools that allowed me to just learn to love and appreciate that quiet time. Because it's, for me, it's one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself.
Very true indeed. So any advice for those who are having trouble finding what to be thankful for and just finding that place where they can actually be quiet during the day?
Well, with gratitude, I've had, it's definitely a learned process. Start small. If you're not someone who can easily find things to be grateful for, start small. If you wake up in the morning, be grateful for that. You have food in your kitchen, be grateful for that. If you are able to earn a living, be grateful for that. Just the very things that we take for granted, start there and be grateful. And if it means writing the same 3 things every day for weeks until you really understand how much we truly have that we are grateful for, it just will grow. And wake up in the morning and just start there. I'm so grateful I have another day. I'm so grateful I have this nourishing meal in front of me. I'm so grateful I have my body works and can allow me to walk wherever I need to go. And if you know that writing gratitude becomes a daily practice, you then start to look for things to be grateful for. So I know that everyone can come up with at least 3 things every morning.
Ah, yes, even if it's common sense.
Exactly.
So for those out there looking to become a Reiki master and an author and just an all-around awesome person with their fire full of gasoline, what advice would you give to them?
I would say you need to really go within and find what would set your heart on fire, what will fill you with passion, what will allow you to wake up every morning and feel excited about what lies ahead. So, it may be becoming a Reiki master or an author or a speaker, but starting small, those all can be major life shifts for people, so start small. Do one thing every day that brings you joy and try different things. If you want to be an author but writing a book scares you, then just start by writing your thoughts out. Maybe it's a small blog. Maybe it's just in your diary to start, and you can build from there. If you want to become a Reiki master or just to learn Reiki, there are different levels, then go have a Reiki treatment and learn more about it. And there's so much information out there. And if someone has walked in a path that you would like to follow, then reach out to them and find out what they did to get there and to ask them to give you insight on what the next steps may be. We all have different things that we're looking for in our life. And so I encourage you, live a life of joy. Find what brings you passion and do things that you love every day. Do something you love every day, because that really is the key to living a life of joy.
Woohoo! I love it, especially nowadays where tensions are running high out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for those who like reading, has there been any book in particular that's among your top 10 that you would recommend others to read?
Well, I'm a big Brene Brown fan. I actually got to see her a few months ago, and I enjoy her messages. I relate a bit to her, and I just love the way that she brings her messages to us, and she just really speaks to me. So she's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, let's see, Daring Greatly, and then there's Gifts of Imperfection.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes.
I think she has a new one out too, right?
Yes, I believe so. The title's escaping me at the moment, but yeah, she's amazing.
Yes, indeed. Daring Greatly, indeed. Need to get around to getting back to her books. Darn reading list keeps on growing like a darn forest. Well, all right. So what advice? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there are so many wonderful authors out there and books out there. So find something that speaks to you. And, even if it's one thing that you get from something that you read or something that you hear and incorporate it into your life, it allows you to take steps towards living that life that you are meant to be living.
That's right. Titles and all that other good stuff. Watch out for the books of mouths, though. I hear they're really chatty.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down the pike here, what advice would you give to yourself if you were 25 in 2018?
I would say, first of all, don't compare yourself to anyone else. We all have our own journey, and we have to be true to ourselves, and we have to do what lights us up. And your path might be different from someone else's, so don't compare yourself. Just listen to your inner voice when it's asking you to feed your soul, and do whatever that looks like for you. Don't compare yourself to others, because that never looks right. It never makes you feel good. Just follow your heart.
Woohoo! I love that advice indeed. Kind of reminds me of this one guy calling himself Shawn Michaels 2.0. Then the guy Shawn Michaels had to come and be like, what's wrong with you guys always trying to be the next somebody, when you can focus on becoming the greatest wrestler who ever lived? So it's really solid advice. Avoid the comparison trap.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially when they have chocolate on that trap. You might want to definitely avoid that trap. So for those who want to get in contact with you and keep up with all your good stuff and purchase some of your CD crystal clear calendars, which are freaking awesome, where can we keep up with Donna?
Sure. On my website is the best place at donnabrowndesigns.com.
Woohoo! Well, alrighty then. Go on ahead to Donna's website. Pick up 15 copies of her book and share them with your friends, men and women. Yeah, because women who ignite indeed. There's 20 women in here. Donna's one of them, and her story is awesome. It's fabulous even, because it talks about her finding fabulous at 52. There's a lot of stuff underlined in here, especially in blue, because it is some good stuff indeed to help you manifest your dreams. Thanks a bunch for your listening ears on the Going North podcast. I hope you really, really enjoyed that episode. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family, especially those who love podcasts and love listening to some inspiration and motivation. And keep a lookout for the sequel to Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself in October 2018. And if you'd like to connect with me directly, feel free to shoot me an email at dombrightmon@gmail.com. Make the